the first practice of spring different than the first practice of the fall?
They're very similar. What's different is that we don't have any brand new freshmen that have never played in our program out here. So all the guys that are on the field today have been through the installation at least once. So we've got some freshmen out here that went through the installation in preseason camp and then spend the whole season on the scout team. So they're struggling a little bit with the assignments, much more so than the veterans. But I think we can probably go a little bit faster right now than we will be able to with the new plebes that'll be here in August. But the practices are probably structured very, very similarly.
The intensity, more, less, or right down the middle of the same?
Hard to be really intense with the speed and aggressiveness when you don't have any shoulder pads on. And we really cautioned our guys. I want them to play with great focus and energy, but we told them, stay off the ground. There's no contact at all in these drills unless it's with a bag. And we've got some good equipment, the shields that kind of fit over the guy's neck where they can put their hands on a body, but they're putting their hands on a pad to protect our guys. So once we get into shells or we got shoulder pads on, there'll be a little bit more speed, more contact, and that's when we're really going to up the expectation for great effort and aggressiveness and playing through blocks and sustaining blocks and those kinds of things.
What about, do you come in with an objective list of what you want to get accomplished between now and the 16th of April?
Get better. Just improve as a team. That's all we're trying to do, and hopefully stay healthy doing that. And that's always I think the fine line that you walk is you want to get better, and you need to evaluate guys playing full speed football, but you also run the risk of guys getting hurt and missing time in the fall because of a spring practice. That doesn't make it not important. It is important. But some of the guys that are out here that have had a lot of reps, we're going to limit what they do in the spring. A guy like Ryan England has started for 3 years or 2.5 years. He doesn't need as many reps as he did a spring ago or his sophomore year. So we'll limit him. John Voigt's played a lot of football. We'll limit him. Brett Toth, he's played a lot for us and is a really smart player. We're going to give some of those younger guys a chance to see what they can do. And there are other guys like that. Ahmad will be limited some. The B-backs will be limited some. Some positions, just because we don't have the depth, we'll be giving guys the day off or the scrimmage off or these certain number of plays off, just so that we have them for the fall to go into preseason camp.
And I know you said in your answer to Ken's question, you're looking guys to replace King, Tim, Moss. How much closer can you get to that when you have these weeks here? Do you really need more time, like fall and captain's practices, to look at that?
Yeah, not so much to evaluate. We've got who we've got. They're going to have to play. What we got to do is get them to play at a level that's as close as we can get to those two guys. Those two guys that you talked, the two inside linebackers, really good players. Moss, a heck of an athlete, and Jordan Smith, really tough. And I don't know if we got a guy that can replace Edgar Poe. He's a pretty special player, for us here, and great ball skills. And I don't know if anybody's like him. I don't know if his brother's like him, or if Schaefer or Peterman or anything. But we got to have somebody we can count on for those go-to balls like that. And so each guy that you lose that's a starter that's been a big contributor, it's a loss, and it takes some time for those other guys to get to that level. It's game experience, and it's taking reps that gets that done.
You the guys who talk about giving days off, are you talking about like the corner position, where like the secondary positions where it's thin, or no?
Yeah, it'll be hard for us to give Riley and McClinton and those guys days off. They haven't played enough football. Okay. I think it's going to be valuable for them to get a lot of reps. When they went through preseason camp, they were playing safety.
Yeah.
So they kind of got thrown to the wolves there. Here you're a corner now. Yeah. And this is the first chance for them to go through the whole installation as a corner and kind of learn the defense from that vantage point. It's going to be valuable for them to get reps. But it's guys like England and Voigt and Toth, Bradshaw. Kurz will be very limited. Woolfolk we're going to limit because he's been hurt and banged up. Andy Davidson. And again, you got to have enough guys to practice with and scrimmage with. But we certainly don't want to do that at the risk of or costing us time in the fall.
When do you shells will be Thursday or no?
Shells will be Thursday.
And then
full gear on Saturday.
So that the scrimmage is the first time they'll be in full.
It will be, and this Saturday we're not going to do a full scrimmage.
Okay.
It'll be just a practice. It'll be structured a lot like today's practice was, but in full gear. So the interaction periods will maybe a little bit longer, and close to full speed. We may not even tackle to the ground all the time, but just a little faster pace. And as I was saying, as Ken was asking, it's what we accomplish, and here's hopefully the mental part of the game, so that Saturday, when it gets going full speed, their brains don't go haywire. They got a chance to kind of execute.
Yeah, because I know that you like to have physical practices during the season. Do you have to? So you're toning it down a little bit this spring, are you or no?
No, we're not toning it down. We're just pulling back on some of the guys that have a lot of reps. And I read an article. Somebody. It might have been Jay had given me the name of an article or a link to check out, and Ohio State takes a count of the reps that each guy has had in the program, so a live rep. And once they get to a certain number of reps, then they cut back on how many live reps they take from that point in their career. And obviously you want the live reps to happen in the games, not sacrifice game reps for practice reps. And a lot of teams that are using GPSs on their players are also doing the same thing on particular days. So if a guy takes a certain amount of reps, or the load, and they measure load based on how far they run, change of direction, when they fall to the ground and get back up, it calculates a load, and once they get to a certain load, they shut them down completely. They don't practice anymore that day. People are doing that. So it's, there's people being very scientific about the things they're doing, but it's all in an attempt to keep those guys healthy, and the wear and tear that happens over the course of time. And as physical as we practice and as much as we hit, it's going to take its toll if we don't watch it too.
Yeah. Is that something you can really? That makes it harder to track when you have cadets that have to do certain military requirements throughout the season too?
I think the biggest thing is trying to get them the rest and the nutrition that they need to help them recover, which is a challenge. It's not easy. And here with the class load that they have and the requirements that they have to get up at a certain time in the morning, it's a challenge. But it's just one of those things. Everybody's got challenges. You just change what those challenges are from one school to the next. We got ours, but everybody else has theirs too.